Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get walked all over while others stand strong? Well, today we're talking about setting boundaries and working with psychological archetypes. So, picture this: a life where you no longer complain about how others treat you. Instead, you are crystal clear about how you want to be treated and take consistent steps to achieving that. So, boundaries are essential for maintaining our self respect and self worth. They are our way of showing the world that we know our values and won't let anyone undermine them. So think of boundaries as your personal shield, protecting you from being manipulated or taken advantage of. So for many people, the struggle with boundaries is deeply rooted in the psychological archetypes. The caregiver archetype is linked to the nurturing energy of the moon. The pleaser archetype, guided by the harmonious influence of Venus. The hero archetype, driven by the assertive force of Mars. The orphan archetype, shaped by the disciplined energy of Saturn. So by understanding and setting these various types of boundaries, you can navigate your relationships and interactions with clarity and confidence, ensuring your well-being and self-respect are always a priority. So embrace your unique archetype, honor your needs, and stand strong in your truth. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get walked all over while others stand strong? Well, today we're talking about setting boundaries and working with psychological archetypes. So picture this: a life where you no longer complain about how others treat you. Instead, you are crystal clear about how you want to be treated and take consistent steps to achieving that. Now, this isn't just a dream, it's a reality that you can create by setting healthy personal boundaries. Now, I'm a sun in Pisces, moon in Scorpio, Scorpio ascendant, and Neptune in my first house. So I have no idea what boundaries are. I've struggled with setting boundaries my whole entire life. But here's what I can share with you. Knowing that I struggle with boundaries, I got curious. And this I can speak from experience. You teach others how you want to be treated. Boundaries allow us to separate who we are, what we think, and feel from the thoughts and feelings of others. Boundaries help us express our individuality, our authenticity, while acknowledging the same in others. So, even with all of this knowledge, I was puzzled. Why do I still struggle with setting boundaries? Then it hit me. We teach what we must learn. So, being vulnerable and standing in your truth is a tough gig, no doubt about that. But that's why it is so crucial to communicate your boundaries directly and honestly with others. So each of us is unique with our own distinct emotions, needs, and preferences. This applies to everyone, our spouse, children, and friends. By the way, in case this topic tickles your interest, I have created an astro coaching program for coaches, psychologists, psychotherapists, and counselors. It's a tool to work with psychological archetypes. So you can find the link in the show notes. And now it's time to unpack our three shiny golden insights. Insight number one: why boundaries matter and how archetypes influence them. So, now let's dive into why boundaries are so important and how our psychological archetypes can make setting them a little bit tricky. So, boundaries are essential for maintaining our self respect and self worth. They are our way of showing the world that we know our values and won't let anyone undermine them. So think of boundaries as your personal shield, protecting you from being manipulated or taken advantage of. But here's the kicker: boundaries aren't just about keeping negative influences out, they are also about defining who we are. They help us stay true to our own thoughts and feelings separate from others. This clarity allows us to express our unique selves while recognizing the individuality of those around us. So, for many people, the struggle with boundaries is deeply rooted in the psychological archetypes. So, let's look at a few examples. The caregiver archetype is linked to the nurturing energy of the moon. The moon is associated with emotions, intuition, and nurturing. Individuals identifying with a caregiver archetype might avoid setting boundaries to fulfill a role of selflessness and nurturance. They believe the virtue of self sacrifice for the well being of others, often at the expense of their own needs. The pleaser archetype, guided by the harmonious influence of Venus. Venus governs love, beauty, and harmony. The pleaser archetype is characterized by a desire to make others happy and avoid conflict. Not having boundaries serves the purpose of ensuring harmony and acceptance with social groups. So these individuals fears that asserting their own needs could disrupt peace or lead to rejection. The hero archetype, driven by the assertive force of Mars. So, Mars represents action, courage, and assertiveness, associated with strength and resilience. Individuals embodying the hero archetype might see not having boundaries as a form of endurance or bravery. They may take on more than they can handle to prove their capability or to rescue others, believing that true strength lies in self neglect. The orphan archetype, shaped by the disciplined energy of Saturn. Saturn symbolizes structure, limitation, and discipline, but also feelings of abandonment and isolation. So, driven by feelings of abandonment, can't say that word, abandonment or not belonging, the orphan archetype might lead individuals to avoid setting boundaries to forge connections, no matter how superficial or harmful. They seek to belong anywhere, even at the cost of personal well being. So, which psychological archetype are you connecting with? Insight number two, what exactly are boundaries? So, think of boundaries as the invisible lines that protect your personal space and well being, both physically and emotionally. They're like your own personal rule book defining what's acceptable in your interactions with others. So these lines help you maintain your identity and autonomy, ensuring you feel safe and respected. So boundaries are essentially the guidelines we set for ourselves, outlining what behaviors are acceptable and what are not. They create a sense of safety and respect in our relationships. So here are some different types of boundaries. Physical boundaries. These relate to your personal space and physical comfort. For example, feeling uncomfortable with hugs from someone you just met is a physical boundary. It's about knowing and expressing how close you're comfortable being with others. Emotional boundaries. These boundaries determine how much you share emotionally and how much you allow others' emotions to affect you. For instance, an emotional boundary might involve not taking it personally if a friend is in a bad mood, understanding it's their issue, not yours. Mental boundaries. These protect your thoughts, values, and opinions. An example of a mental boundary is saying no to taking on extra work when you're already overloaded, respecting your own limits and mental space. Time boundaries. These are about how you use your time and ensuring that others respect it. For instance, setting a time limit for meetings and not answering work emails after hours are ways to enforce time boundaries. Material boundaries. These relate to your personal belongings and finances. For example, deciding not to lend your car to a friend or setting clear terms when someone borrows money are ways to protect your material boundaries. Digital boundaries. In our tech savvy world, these boundaries manage your online interactions and privacy. This might include not responding to messages on weekends or setting limits on how much personal information you share on social media. And there are many more. Healthy boundaries are crucial because they help you, one, maintain self respect. By enforcing your limits, you communicate to yourself and others that you value and respect yourself. Number two, avoid resentment. Clear boundaries prevent feelings of being taken advantage of or overwhelmed by others' demands. And number three, build trusting relationships. When you set and respect boundaries, you create a foundation of trust and mutual respect with others. So, by understanding and setting these various types of boundaries, you can navigate your relationships and interactions with clarity and confidence, ensuring your well being and self respect are always a priority. Insight number three, how to implement boundaries effectively. So, setting and maintaining boundaries require introspection, self awareness, and a whole lot of courage. But don't worry, we're in this together. So, here's how you can work with boundaries through the lens of psychological archetypes. So, recognize your archetype patterns. First things first, understand which archetype you resonate with and how it influences your boundary setting behaviors. Are you a caregiver, a pleaser, a hero, or an orphan? Each archetype has its own unique challenges and strengths when it comes to setting boundaries. Number two, reflect on your needs and limits. Take a moment or several to introspect and identify your needs, values, and limits. This self awareness is the foundation for establishing healthy boundaries. Ask yourself, what do I need to feel safe and respected? What are my deal breakers? Number three, communicate clearly and assertively. When it comes to boundaries, communication is key. Be direct and honest when expressing your boundaries to others, but use the I statements to express how you feel and what you need without blaming or accusing others. So, for example, I feel overwhelmed when I'm asked to work late every night. I need some evenings to recharge. Another one, four, practice self care. Now, self care isn't just about bubble baths and spa days, though those are great too. It's about making choices that align with your needs and values. Remember, self care is not selfish, it's essential for maintaining healthy relationships and a balanced life. So, if you are struggling with boundaries, seek a boundary buddy. Setting and maintaining boundaries can be tough, especially if it's new for you. So don't hesitate to find a boundary buddy, a friend, a family member, or someone else that needs to focus on their boundaries. Working together, you can support and encourage each other, providing valuable insights and holding each other accountable. The most important thing is pay attention to your triggers. When you feel triggered, it's a sure sign that your boundaries have been compromised and your needs are not being met. So use these moments as an opportunity to reassess and reinforce your boundaries. Triggers are like your personal alarm system, alerting you to areas that need attention. So, by understanding and addressing the fears that prevent us from asserting our needs, we can create a life where our boundaries protect our sense of self while allowing us to engage in healthy, fulfilling relationships. So, embrace your unique archetype. Honor your needs and stand strong in your truth. It's important not to judge our psychological archetypes because they do serve a purpose. They protect us and offer secondary gains, even if they sometimes create challenges. So, if you want to dive deeper into these astrological archetypes and how they shape your life, come and join me in my astro coaching class. Click the link below to learn more. Well, that's it for now, beautiful souls. Thank you so very much for your time and your energy today. If you found this information helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to share this video with anyone who might benefit from learning about boundaries and psychological archetypes. Your support means the world to me. And so until the next time, beautiful souls, much love and gratitude. Namaste.